Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits, coming to you from the Recycle Garage. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's not sunny Santa Cruz. It's rainy Santa Cruz. Soggy Santa Cruz. But here we are. Now, the more observant of you will realize Liza's not with us.
Who?
Liza?
Who?
No, Liza's in Vietnam right now with Donovan Corbett. Riding.
Eating lots of noodle bowls, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, no, I think she's still on a cruise.
I saw her. She had a dong in her
she?
hand.
I saw that. She had a bunch of dongs.
A fistful of dongs.
Fistful of dongs.
Looked happy about it, too.
Benelli dong?
Well, it's most unusual for Liza, but nevertheless, she seemed quite happy at the time. No, this was the trip that I was scheduled to go on last year, and I couldn't because I got so sick. And Donovan does a bunch of these trips every year. And, you know, my opportunity came up, and I am so busy at the shop. And I'm like, So I said, Liza, you know, why don't you go? And she went. And I think she's having a good old time.
It's interesting. I think this is the first time she's been on a motorcycle since she's had her procedure.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious how it works out. I think it'll be great because they're on those Honda 150.
Well, you know, the riding supposedly is a little easier. The small capacity bike, so it's as good a start as any.
Right. And light.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's a 150cc lightweight bike.
Was I saw pictures of her. Was she in a tuk-tuk or a rickshaw?
Rickshaw.
Ah.
I think it was a rickshaw.
She likes an actual human to pull her around.
Yeah, well, you know, that's Liza all around. Isn't
No,
it?
it looked like she's having a good time.
Yeah.
I have not been.
And I mean, you know, I am kind of jealous, but I always wanted to be in that place in Saigon where the train comes through the middle of the town.
She had a video.
Oh,
of that.
I didn't know that was there.
Yes.
Describe this.
So basically, you're sitting in this narrow alleyway, and if you look down, you realize there's a train track in the middle of the alleyway, and there's restaurants and, you know, people in apartments, you know, hanging their laundry out. And then this train comes through, and it's not a small train. I mean, it's a full-size train. And everybody just kind of moves the table out to the side. The train kind of brushes your elbow, and then that's it. And that's it for another day.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and she was there.
It was crazy. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I mean, everybody's having a good time.
But you know, Vietnam is rapidly becoming the #1 motorcycle destination.
Well, I was just looking at what the most popular motorcycles, I'll say two-wheeled vehicles are in Vietnam.
And?
Would you like to take some guess? One is a scooter. So take a stab at some of the most popular motorcycles in Vietnam.
Well, Bagel's got his hand up, and I think he's qualified to answer this.
Yes.
I'm going to guess a Honda Cub or clone thereof.
I think you're close. The Honda they throw out, and again, this is unsubstantiated stuff, but the Honda Vision.
Okay.
Are you familiar with this
The
little
Honda
scooter?
Vision.
No.
It used to be
Yes.
a Yamaha Vision. I remember that.
So the Honda Vision, Emma, do you want to describe it?
So the Honda Vision, they sold them in England. It's a step through. It was sold as a moped. Yeah, it was sold as a moped, but I'm sure they come in bigger sizes. But it's one of these big wheel scooters.
110cc.
Yeah, so there you go. Room for a helmet under the seat in the bodywork. I mean, these things are great.
Okay, the next is,
Yes.
if you want, anybody want to take another guess? If not, I can just roll through because it's quite interesting.
Yeah, come on.
The Honda Blade,
Which is what?
a semi-automatic 110cc motorcycle that is considered reliable, indestructible, and inexpensive to fix. So the Honda Blade. I'll have to check
What's it
that
look
one out.
like?
I don't know.
Well,
yeah,
yes,
that out.
let's have a look at a picture.
Yes, the Honda Blade.
sounds-
I just like the name.
It sounds posh.
So who's in the room?
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Oh, you know
Oh, we
what?
skipped
We didn't
all
do our
that.
introductions.
We certainly didn't. Well,
We got carried away.
before we go any further, you see, I've already messed up. I'm Emma, tra-la-la, and I messed up about telling people who's in the room. Who's sitting next to me?
Stumpy John, baby.
Yeah, you're doing the board.
I am in. You've heard of Hog Heaven, right? I've been in Hog Hell.
Oh, no.
No, not anymore.
But Emma
out.
got me out.
I got you out of hog hell, and we'll talk about that.
Oh, my.
Looking sultry by the window.
Sultry.
Sultry, that's
I know,
you.
I like that haircut you got too. You
I
look
do. I
look
got a
like
nice
it.
haircut. My girl gives it to me in the backyard.
All right.
It's very
No, I thought you were
affordable.
going to say your girl gives it to you in the
Oh,
bath.
and I do have the I showed y'all earlier, but the shirts for the Desert Hair Rally.
Oh, loving it.
This is a white shirt, the Send It crew, and on the back it says fucking huck it. No, it's great. So, Naked Jim.
Yes, hey, yes, happy
Yes.
to be here.
And coming to us from his impeccable shirt shop in Velveeta, Oregon, Set Bagel. Oh, no, you're muted, darling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Ho,
that's
ho,
better.
ho.
Ho, ho, ho. Okay, so there we go. So now we can start talking about what we were talking about before.
What were we talking about?
Motorcycles in Vietnam
Yeah, so the number 2
was the Honda Blade.
was
that we don't
did you
know
find a
what that
picture
is.
of it
Well,
yet?
no, I got smitten by looking at Bagel. He's a very handsome man.
He's a weirdie with a beardy.
Oh, thank you.
So after that's the XL 150, and I think that's what Liza's
And that's what
tooling around.
Liza's riding, yeah. Look at that. Oh, Honda Blade. Yeah, it's another kind of step-through like thing. Isn't it? Yeah, Honda
Sort
Blade.
of. It's like a half step through.
But again, it's all the big wheels.
Yep.
See, I noticed this when I was in Rome last fall. I thought I was going to see hundreds of classic scooters.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a couple.
Yeah.
But the most popular two-wheel conveyance in Rome is indeed a scooter. But they're the big wheel ones.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're so much better on city streets. Those tiny little 10-inch wheels, they get you in a lot of trouble.
Well, and if you've been to Rome like we have, the streets are not, a lot of them are beat up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so it is in Vietnam, and so it is in America, and probably where you live as well. Tra-la-la. So, yeah, these big wheel scooters make a lot of sense.
But I do like the Honda 150 as a way to tootle around. Nice little dual sport bike to get around Vietnam. And
No,
check it out.
I'm sure she's going to have a fantastic time. I really am. So we're going to be holding the fort this week. We're going to be holding the fort next
Right.
week. And then she'll be back to give us a ride report.
So who's going to do the Jeep updates?
Oh, we have a whole segment on Jeeps.
Oh, welcome to
We may even do a whole show.
Fuck Jeep Talk with Emma and John. Now look, I'm gonna put a stop to this right now. Is Liza has been contorting herself into knots trying to figure out what Jeeps have got to do with motorcycles. I'm going to tell you, nothing. Absolutely nothing. So anyway, no, I mean, that is enough of me about me ranting about Jeeps and Liza, because you know she's not going to listen to any of us. There's no reasoning with her. What I am hoping, that spending a week or so riding around on a motorcycle, she'll leave foolish GP things behind
Hopefully.
and start riding bikes when she comes back.
And come back with some
Right.
good food stories.
But anyway, I mean, we've got some guests lined up this week. And all through December, we have been featuring people who are contributing to the motorcycle community. We've had some fantastic guests all throughout the month. And I thought we'd close it out. And this is the last show of 2024.
Wow.
Woo.
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're getting very, very close to the new year. And none of us know what that's going to bring, but it's going to be epic for motorcycling, I'll tell you that much.
It's kind of
Because
filling up.
we're in it.
It's kind of filling up.
But we brought it close to home for the last episode, and I'm very, very happy to welcome our guests. And this is a real family affair. Clay has been really part of the podcast since the beginning, but you've been kind of doing your own thing for a while, so some of our newer listeners may have forgotten who you are. Isn't that awful?
I went rogue.
Well, you know, you've been busy.
Ever since you were 11.
You've
Indeed.
been busy.
Indeed.
But Clay is a very, very legit cat. And I wanted you to talk a little bit about who you are before we get involved. And then you can introduce your family
Wonderful.
and how all of this is going to dovetail into our giving back to the motorcycle community. So, Clay, who are you? Go.
Okay, very good. My name is Clay Murphy. I like motorcycles.
No shit.
Most definitely. So I had the luxury of growing up on motorcycles myself. My dad, the car mechanic over here, would find old clapped out things and help me get them running, or rather than get them running for me. And so I wanted to do the same thing for my kids, was able to do that. And then we started doing that for our kids' friends.
Right. Yeah. And before we actually introduce your family and we talk about what you've been doing, I want to chat a little bit about the SFMC, because you are a fully paid up member in good faith for the SFMC.
I am.
How long have you been with them now?
This past summer crossed 20 years.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
I became a life member
And
of the
you live in
San
Boulder
Francisco
Creek,
Motorcycle
right?
Club. I do.
That's a long way from SFMC.
It is. It makes for long, cold, often wet nights.
See, but that's commitment there, going up to the meetings, right?
It's fun. It's family too.
Oh, heck yeah.
And if I remember rightly, one of the earlier times I met you, Clay, about from down here, you were judging at the Quail.
Fell bass backwards into that. So very fortunate to be able to do that since 2015, Emma. Thank you.
I know. And that's going back. However, you've brought your family.
Thank you.
Please introduce everyone you've got with her. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what First Rides is, what it does,
Wonderful.
and the contribution it makes.
Fantastic. Thank you, Emma. So let me take it away. I've got my father across the room here. This is David Murphy, so my mentor for life. Mm-hmm. And then we have First Rides family right here, Michelle and Hayden. Michelle is the wife of Donovan Corbett, our vice president, fantastic fellow, and Hayden is Donovan's son.
That's right. And so Donovan, of course, is in Vietnam.
Is this the Donovan in Vietnam?
This is the Donovan in Vietnam right
world.
now.
What a small world.
With Liza.
Yes.
So there you have. So this is a real family-oriented stuff. And all of you contribute to First Rides. So tell me a little bit about what First Rides is and how you got the idea for it in the first place.
That's a great question, Emma. So it would not exist without all of the volunteers. And we have volunteers from Big Sur Motorcycle Adventure Tours, San Francisco Motorcycle Club, Oakland Motorcycle Club. Some of the Misfits have volunteered as well. San Jose Don's Motorcycle Club has been absolutely essential to the program. So it was basically a bit of a dream watching my son do track up at SLV High. And I'm like, they really should have something like this for motorcycling, where it's just a bunch of volunteers out there getting the next generation of motorcycle athletes prepared for the sport, removing all of the barriers, the financial barriers, the intense nature of the sport, the necessity to have some experience before even trying it, really, or at least be surrounded by people who know how to do it. So we just started banding together and banding the idea about in 2014. We got official in 2019 and started holding classes.
Fantastic. So basically, you provide kids with
the bikes, the gear, the trainers, everything necessary to get a full day of motorcycling in a safe, controlled environment.
And it's dirt, right?
It is dirt.
Yeah.
It is dirt. We offer everything from 50s all the way up to 250s.
Oh, wow.
We've had some kids that are large enough. We had a kid who was like 6'5", and we put him on the 250, for instance. And we've had kids as young as 5, but now we've made it 6 as the minimum, just because some of the 5-year-olds, sadly, were too small even for our smallest bikes. So 6 is the minimum age now, and we have them on 50s. So we have 50s, 70, 90, 110s, and a couple of 80s and a couple of 125s.
So how many bikes? I know this started off very, very small back in 2019.
Very grassroots. Yeah.
It really
still
was.
really is.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, that's the beauty of it, because it is grassroots. How many bikes do you have now?
So the program has 7 total, and then I loan it 2 personal. My family loans it 2 personal bikes, and then we will borrow from the community as needed.
Right. So 9 bikes that actually belong to First Rides, and then bikes that come in as needed.
Totally.
How many kids do you think? Now, is this something you do all through the year, or is it very much a season?
That's a great question. We actually do it just once a quarter every 3 months, we attempt to have a class, depending upon weather. But we do 4 classes a year, and it's a bit of a kind of a make a wish type thing.
Right.
That said, we almost invariably never have a wait list. And so we're full for February, and we're mostly full for May. But we have openings in 2025 as an example. So we are considering holding classes more frequently, but I'll be honest with you, it is a ton of work. It's a ton of work.
Where are the classes held at?
They're held at Metcalf Motorcycle County Park in San Jose. They're part of the Santa Clara County Park system. So we go through them every year to get a permit, and we apply.
And I wondered how the San Jose Dons would fit into this. This is their home turf, right?
Big time. And then Devin Wayman, they're longtime road
Devin.
captain.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Devin's been volunteering with the program from the onset. So he and Donovan are board members.
Okay.
And they really put a ton of skin into this game, let me tell you.
Fantastic. So what are the criteria for a kid to ride? I mean, we have a child there. Hello, child. So
Hayden. Yes.
So let's say Hayden just walked in off the street. He doesn't have any association with anyone. He's, hi, I'm Hayden. I've never met any of you before. What criteria would he need to meet to actually be part of the program?
Fantastic question, Emma. So in the olden days, we would strongly recommend they be proficient on bicycling.
Are you proficient on a bicycle, Hayden?
Yes, I am.
All right. Well,
Quite.
okay. So you
Quite.
passed the first part of the test.
But that's really, have an even temperament, obviously, but we don't.
I
mandate these
think,
things.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm looking him in the eye. I'm not sure how even that temperament is. Seems quite an excitable young man to me. What do you
That's
say,
right.
Jim?
He looks like he'd be demon late on the brakes to me.
Yeah. He slides into and out of every turn. He gets sideways.
Right. So a little bit of experience riding, even temperament.
Yeah, ideally. I mean, there's no way to check for this, right?
Yeah, of course.
So we used to request proficiency on bicycling, but now we absolutely stipulate this.
Right.
We did have a couple of kids come out who weren't very good on bicycling, and we ended up trying to teach them balance as well as all of the controls.
Well, the one thing you notice with bicycle people is I've taken mountain bikers who've never ridden a dirt bike
They're
before,
crazy.
and
Yep.
they're better than me in a day.
Big time.
Right? So
Yep.
the bicycling translates so well to dirt bike.
Yes.
But I do these tours in Italy and Germany every year.
Wonderful.
And I've come across the same thing. Is people's perceived skills very different from their actual skills? And in a couple of cases, back to the drawing board for you guys. And we're going to have to really start from basics, because just because you've been riding for 30 years doesn't mean you've been riding well for 30 years.
Precisely. You can have terrible habits. That's one of the beauties of getting to these kids when they are young, is because they don't have the bad habits yet.
Right.
And they absorb, much like language or walking. We express this to the kids. If you gave up learning to walk the first time you fell, no one would know how to walk, right?
Right.
And so you're probably going to fall today, we tell them. This is why they're in gear from head to toe. But at the same time, the vast majority of them come in with some trepidation, Emma.
Yes, of course.
And I tell them that it's so healthy. Like if you came in and you weren't reticent,
Yeah.
I would be terrified. Right? Most of the classes, I barely sleep before the classes, right? I'm nervous because you don't know. These aren't friends or family. These aren't, people that we have any experience with.
Right. Now, you're dealing with some tiny children here in the past 5, 6. I mean, these are tiny, tiny kids. How do you deal with tears? Because, I mean, if...
Yeah.
I don't know, guys, grown men, I've seen can crumble when faced with a crying child. Or want to run the other way.
Yeah, I really, that's one of the things that we do require of the trainers is empathy. You know what I mean? Like, most of these kids have never touched, or some of them have never seen a motorcycle. So you're going to spend, maybe 5 minutes showing them where to put their feet on the bike.
Right.
So if you don't have that kind of patience for them and understand that, yes, they may get upset, but we really try to minimize all of that, Emma, because we tell them from the onset, our 2 goals are these: for you to love motorcycling and you to be safe at the end of the day, right? Like if the latter doesn't happen, you can't love motorcycling because you got really hurt, right?
Right.
So we just really try to minimize the drama.
So kind of pick them up, dust them off, get back on that bike, kid, and quit blubbering.
Hit him with a coat hanger.
Seriously. Well, Donovan's fantastic with the kids. So what we do is we literally push the kids around, whether they're on a 125 or they're on a 50, before we get the bike running.
I should point out, by the way, that for those who haven't met Donovan, he looks exactly like Bluto from Popeye. Yes,
He's
yes, his
fantastic.
wife is nodding right now. That's exactly what he looks
is
like.
true.
And
Heart of gold.
but he's such a lovely man, and he has got a gentle streak. I mean, so far we've heard a lot from you, Clay.
Yes, please.
We've heard from Hayden. I want to hear from Dave and Michelle too. So, you all came in. So you all play a part in this. Where do you fit in, dear? Where do you fit in?
I'm basically backup. So, number one is if they need things on the back end, I can try to deliver every once in a while. Support, obviously.
Red Sticker Day.
Yeah, Red Sticker Day. We were out there. We set up the booth. We were out there handing materials out, handing out some promotional stuff, just looking at everybody.
But you ride as well, don't you?
I do not.
You read? I thought you did.
I do not. And actually, I begged Clay the other day to if I could possibly take a first rides class because, and kind of parlaying into what they do, is Donovan has tried to teach me how to ride a bike. I tried to get on Hayden's little 50 and flew off the back, and Donovan had to grab it in midair, and it was a mess. And it's different when you have someone that you know and you have a rapport with trying to teach you, and they don't have as much patience as they do, especially for small children,
right,
or people they don't know. And so for me, getting Hayden away from Donovan trying to teach him how to ride a motorcycle and getting him to strangers who he will listen to made all the difference.
I love it. Yeah, because you wouldn't listen to your dad, would you?
No. And they would, they would butt heads. They would, gripe, and he'd throw in the towel. And so it was important because he goes to school. He listens to his teachers. He listens to other adults. When you're with your parents, you tend to just tone them out and think, I know what I'm doing. So it was a much better learning environment from someone like Clay and other people he didn't know versus Donovan trying to teach him how to ride the bike.
So
Donovan's great with kids, though. I'm gonna say
he's fabulous. It's just when you have your own kid.
When you have your own. And that kind of translates to you as well. Being taught to drive or being taught to ride is not always the best from your significant other.
It's difficult. It's very difficult.
there's baggage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's move forward to an average training day.
Wonderful.
Now, is it 1 day or is it 2 or 3 days?
It's 1 day.
Just 1 day.
Just
so we're
one
talking
day.
one. So you do 4 of these a year. How many instructors are you going to have? How many backup people are you going to have? How many people on the field?
That's a great question. So we max at 5 students. We have tried larger classes, but it gets to be too many.
Right.
So 5 is about a maximum, and then we want as many trainers as we have students. Ideally,
So
it's 1-to-1.
one-on-one.
Definitely.
So do you have any good stories from when you realized this is too many kids? Like I
Oh
had
my
this
gosh,
picture in my
yes.
mind of just like 10 monkeys on a football going every different
Yes.
direction. And
Our first year, the word got out and we became very popular. And instead of a wait list, we jammed 13 students into a class.
wow.
This is our first year, and we were paying an external trainer and very confident person. And they're like, bring them on, no problem. And it was wild, and we had numerous crashes, and that terrified me. And so that was by far our largest class. We had 9 volunteers for 13 kids. That was the other thing, is we didn't even have one-on-ones. We had 4 kids in their teens, so we had 4 kids at least learning the clutch at the same time. That's a real challenge, and so it was too much. And so we ratcheted down. We maxed at 6, and then we moved it down to 5. And we're like, this is it.
That's a great number. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to have 5 instructors on the field. You're going to have 5 kids. You're going to be doing sort of backup, and and if a child needs talking to for whatever reason, I'm sure they're going to go to you. Are the mums and dads out there
This is
as
a great
well,
question.
or do they tend to kind of back off?
This is a wonderful question. We require that they be there. We
Okay.
want at least a parent there. A lot of the trainers don't want them there, and I get it. I understand. We personally do for multiple reasons. First is, hey, if your kid's, not paying attention and they're a hazard, I'm going to ask that they sit with you, right, until they're ready to focus. But then more importantly, I'll be honest with you, Emma, it is just 1 day. So everything from the gear through all of the mechanics of riding, we need the parents to absorb that and reiterate that to the kids. A lot of these parents have never put motocross gear on, right, or dirt bike gear on. So they don't know how this stuff works. So we're showing them and asking them to continue to teach the kid.
Right, because the ideal scenario is you put these children on bikes and then they start pestering mum and dad, I want a bike of my own. And then they start riding and then they become the motorcyclists of the future.
Exactly. And pull their parents in, hopefully, possibly.
Right.
Emma.
Well, that's a great dovetail because we haven't heard from Dave yet.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk to a little bit about Dave. You are the father of the clay.
That's right.
And I'm sure
David F.
Yeah, and I'm sure you have a role to play in this. So you basically taught Clay how to ride a motorcycle back in the day?
Yeah, back in the day, actually, a mini bike. We had a riding lawnmower
So this is in the trailer park, circa 1976. Dad, what'd you do to the lawnmower?
Switched the pulleys around, so the little pulleys in the front and the bigs on the drive. So man, that really makes it fly.
Yeah, and he took the blade off. He did take the blade off.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah, that's
not only that. The law stopped us and said you can't ride. But I've been a car mechanic for over 50 years. And I've been retired pretty much 15 or better. I'm not sure. And I've taught him a lot. I've worked on a lot of his cars. I do engines, transmissions, rear end, anything on the car I can do. Motorcycles I have worked on two or three times. I've rode them once or twice. I'm really not a motorcycle person. I like four wheels.
But he still backed me up.
Well, Liza has a Jeep, so we should definitely introduce you to her.
Don't. I mean, I'm done talking about Jeeps. I'm going to put my foot down on this when she comes back.
I want to see a picture of the lawnmower.
But
I
know,
amazing.
Dave's role in this is to have kind of taught you. So now, are you involved in this as well? Do you go out?
No, I'm not.
He's our East Coast supporter. He has his gear and stickers on the car and such.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Oh, so you live
in South Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
You see, this is something I didn't know. Is this where you were born and raised?
That's exactly right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Charleston, South Carolina, and then North Charleston, and Latson eventually.
Is that where the chew comes from?
That's
Charleston
right.
chew.
It's exactly right. The Charleston. There are other Charlestons, but there's only one.
There's only one Charleston.
Exactly right.
So from Humble, and this is still quite a small operation. So you got your start in 2019. There was something else doing the rounds right at that time called the pandemic, which probably hit you quite hard.
It was a challenge, and we had the fires.
Yes.
So the CZU fires.
Yep.
Oh gosh, I remember that going down.
2020 was a tough year. Yeah, so we all of the parks closed in 2020, and so we did a class at our house.
Okay.
And so in July of 2020,
bet the neighbors love you.
They're fantastic. They're fantastic. So we have little trails, not much.
Right.
That's where the kids learned a lot. And then so we had to make it much safer for brand new kids. So we got hay bales and we did a bunch of clearing and we put some fencing up, and we were able to do a class there in July of 2020. Masks on and the whole kit. And then in August of 2020, we had the CZU fires. Mm-hmm. And so we evacuated all of the first ride stuff up to Oakland, and we actually held a class in September while we were still evacuated in Oakland because we needed something good to look forward to. These are the dark days where the sun never came out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we held a class while we were evacuated. And then came back to the house that same day, my son and I, and came and cleared out the fridge so that my wife wouldn't have to deal with it.
Wow.
But yeah, it was good times. So,
but here you are. So you're doing probably 20 kids a year. And I'm sure we've got people listening now in California. So, my kid would love that. How do people find you?
I love this. Thank you, Emma. It's literally just firstrides.org, all spelled out, no numbers there. And then there's a simple apply page you click on that's got a Google Docs form, and you just fill out, basic information about their experience, their age, their size, so that we can make sure that we have a bike and gear sorted out for them. And we want to know why they're interested. That kind of tips us off.
Right, because you need some interest.
I would like to hear more from Hayden,
yes.
Right? So how did you come into it? What was your what were you thinking about the night before you went? And then what was it like the first
all the
day?
grim detail.
Yeah, how'd you end up doing it and getting involved and all that?
So it was kind of surprised. I didn't really know until the day before, and I was nervous because I had never had an interaction with a motorcycle. But when we did get there, it was very nice. They had all the gear, the helmets, the bikes, perfect fitting. And it was, at that time, it was smaller. There was only one other kid with me. I don't know what age, but he was younger. And it was really fun. We got to learn the basics, and then we got to jump over tiny jumps, and then there was a very tall turnout, and I was too scared to do it, but the younger kid did it, so it made me want to do it after we were done doing it.
Meanwhile, I bet your mum is watching you terrified, absolutely terrified, watching your child ride around on this death machine.
I had to skip. I was so scared that I could not watch him. So I stayed home because it was nerve wracking.
But your dad was there, right?
Yes. So Donovan was there, and he came back and he was thrilled. And when
You did great.
when he got home, he knew all the things. I mean, I was very surprised what he retained from the class and how he was ready to put the gear back on, and had all the safety stuff down, and he absolutely knew more than I did about any of that. And it made me feel better letting him go out with his dad.
Right.
And go out, because Donovan, if he wants to go fly off and kill himself, that's on him. That's my baby. And so knowing he had some training, some good training from people that know what they're doing, and went through all the things with him that he listened to,
Right.
made me feel so much better. And now he kind of juts around we live in an HOA, he juts around on his motorcycle by himself,
Great.
gets his helmet on, gets his gear on, and we'll take off down to the pool or whatever the case may be. I feel much safer.
Riding dirty.
Yeah, I think we've just observed that kind of possession thing, that between a mama and her children, that little thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is something
that
I'm sure you have to overcome.
It's difficult.
And I mean, I can imagine the dads, let's go. The moms are like, I'm not sure about this.
Even as dads, I mean, the first time my son, it was a vampires ride.
Right.
We rode, he got his permit the day before on a Friday, and on a Saturday, we do their anniversary ride. And I was a little nervous that day, but I also knew I had good friends all around him watching.
Right.
But then we get to the campsite, and he says goodbye, and he gets on the supermoto and leaves. And I was terrified because that was the first time he had ever not ridden with me right beside him. And so yeah, it's incredibly dangerous. This is why we do it, right?
Right, and it's a rite of passage, but I think you're doing all the right things. I mean, you're instilling really a culture of safety, right?
Yep.
How much of your first aid did they talk about safety, about riding the bike safely and the safe gear?
Yeah, they really got into detail with how to stay safe, how to just protect yourself from getting hurt. And I did fall over a few times. And
Surprise.
It's okay,
We all do.
That's on
Yeah,
average.
we all do.
Yeah.
But you got back on.
Yes, I
You
did.
see, and that is the key thing. I can't believe you can't believe you said that about your own son. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
He's my child.
Ashamed of yourself.
It was going to happen. I flew off the back of his tiny motorcycle. I did try to get back on, and Donovan said, absolutely not. We're not doing that.
But at least you got back on.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
So-
is great.
So what do you enjoy about the bike? What feeling does it give you that you enjoy?
I don't know. It makes me feel powerful when I can just drive.
Uh-oh.
Are we, hang on.
Hold on.
Yeah, that's better. We
There
can
we
hear
go.
you now.
It made me feel very powerful and excited to just ride around. And
It's a great feeling, isn't
yeah,
it?
and it's a big rush of adrenaline, and I like going really fast on the bikes.
So how long did it take before you were? How long before you were?
Very safely.
Very safely.
That's a good way.
Yes.
That's a good way. So, Clay, we have heard for many, many years the industry is all blubbering. How are we going to get new blood into this sport? And my opinion, they're kind of missing this huge missing link because they're going for like teenagers and stuff like that. You've got to start them younger than that.
Yeah, definitely. On any Sunday age, right? You want the kids right off the banana seat bikes and get them on the motorbikes. Yeah, definitely. So I think there's a confluence, Emma, where you have this, electric bike situation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I think is really I think it's a wonderful thing. And so I think that there's going to be a meeting where we have more and more people on electric bicycles, which, if you think about it, are very similar to the very first motorcycles as far as...
Right. And I mean, I want to be optimistic like that about electric bikes, because I see them as working in tandem with what we've got rather than in direct competition. I think there's always going to be a place for internal combustion engines, especially on the track. But yeah, I'm still not sure whether electric bicycles are going to actually encroach into that, especially now.
It's a great question.
But, I see a lot of kids. There's a lot of kids in Marino riding around on these Ceron things and absolutely terrifying.
Like bats out of hell. Like they should do.
Scary.
Right. And so that's where I think things like first rides might help, right? So, for instance, if one day we're teaching on, say, electric motorbikes, that might be inspiration for them to wear more gear when they're on their ones in their neighborhoods or whatever the case might be. Because I think you all see, we have more and more folks on these, contraptions, and they're going faster and faster, but they're still wearing what they would wear on a regular bicycle.
Right. And so let's think a little bit about how you see first rides developing in years to come. You've been going 5 years now. Yeah. So let's think about the next 5 years. I mean, how do you see it kind of growing? How do you see it changing? I mean, your target audience is still going to be the same, right?
Definitely. And our audience really is, people on the cusp, folks who are, bike curious, right? You want to check it out, but it is expensive. So I think that we will continue to grow gradually, perhaps have classes more frequently. Really what it's hinging upon is more volunteers. I'll be honest with you, Emma, it tends to be the board members are the same coaches who are the same, volunteers that do the lion's share of the work. And this is true in any organization. But what we're trying to do is entice more volunteers by expressing to them, hey, if you can only work 1 or 2 days a year, then that's huge, right? You don't need to be here for every all 4 classes, right? Every class. And that way we can scale better. We're trying to make this, no one's getting paid, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
So we don't want to burn people out. I need this, I need our board members to be invested, for years to come. And if they have to be at every class because we're the only volunteers, of course, you can see that doesn't scale. So we've gotten some decent funding. We've gotten some corporate sponsorship even. Fox Racing, I want to give them props.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your sponsors and what they do for you.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go right ahead.
Yes, thank you. This past year, thanks to Donovan and to Dave Simpson, our former vice president, they worked Red Sticker Day down at Hollister Hills State Vehicle Recreation Area and really promoted the program. That all came about, if you go back maybe a month before that, we finally did a ride out where we went to various dealerships in the South Bay, essentially. And we met the folks at Fault Line Power Sports who were really welcoming. A fellow by the name of John there, he's the manager, perhaps owner. And he invited us to Red Sticker Day, which morphed into our representatives, Donovan and Dave, meeting a fellow by the name of Jesse Wyatt, thank you, from Fox Racing. And he really liked what we were doing, right?
Yeah.
And so that became, hey, if you ever need gear, which like, oh my gosh, yes. Because as you would imagine, almost all of our gear is donated. And a lot of it's rough, and that's okay. But, obviously we want the kids in proper gear. And so we try to filter through every year and get rid of the older stuff and perhaps purchase stuff to backfill. Fox Racing came through and was like, okay, how many of the, just give me a list.
Right.
It was like, okay, great. We need 5, 6, and 7s boots because we had a bunch of tiny kids boots donated and we have a bunch of 8s and 9s and adult sizes donated. But the sweet spot, the 5, 6, 7s, not so much. And they're like, here you go. I had another friend, Jaco Testoli, he's an AFM racer, and he gets sponsorships like Revzilla here, $400 and Revzilla, he's like, I don't need the gear. What do you need? 3s and 4s, or he gives us motor oil, right? So Muck Off was a sponsor. They are a sponsor who have given us like cleaning supplies and chain, maintenance stuff. And so, and of course, like I said, all of the aforementioned clubs and organizations have been really helpful. A ton of folks have made this possible. There's no single person is, I guess, what I'm trying to say. And
let's talk a little bit about the gear. So you get a kid show up. Let's say 6-year-old, 7-year-old. It's real early.
Yeah.
What are you going to put them in? Is it obviously boots and gloves?
Definitely. The full kit, Emma. So,
Now, jersey with armor or like a proper jacket?
So they are going to be actually in like motocross jerseys and pants, typically with roost guards / chest protectors, elbows, knees, proper motocross boots, proper helmets, proper gloves. And then we optionally offer, the only thing that we make optional is we've got the neck donuts, right? Like we don't mandate that they wear them, but we make them available and we tell the parents about them. And I'm like, if you want your kid in these, they can wear these as well. But they're in full, proper, much nicer gear than my kids had, for instance, when they try this stuff out.
And I'm sure, well, I mean, we started off, it was like T-shirts and jeans.
Flip-flops.
Flip-flops.
Precisely.
And off you go. But I'm sure when the kid gets fitted up, the parents, it's photo opportunity for the parents. And
it's great.
Let's talk a little bit about the fleet. So what have you got in the fleet? I know it's small.
It is small.
But it's small but mighty.
What have you got in mighty?
What have you got in the fleet right now?
In order of size.
Yes.
We have, basically an XR50, old Honda XR50, and then a newer Honda CRF50.
Which is essentially the same bike.
They're the same bike. They're the exact same bike, different graphics. SSR 70. That's our one Chinese-made bike. It's actually really cool. It's fully automatic, which is interesting. Then we get up to a TTR 90, a Yamaha TTR 90, size-wise, and then a Kawasaki KLX 110. That's one of the family bikes, perennial bike at the classes. And then we have 3 Honda XR80s now, thanks in part to Eric Schiller, president of San Francisco Motorcycle Club, getting this 1993 XR80 running. So I should say we have 2 XR80s and 1 CRF80 that's newer, and that thing's really cherry. Donated by a friend of Ben Berliner, another San Francisco Motorcycle Club officer many, many times. And then we have 1 formal First Rides TTR 125, but then we also have, that's our other personal bike that we loan, is my son's TTR 125 that we loan to the program as well, and that kind of rounds it out. And then finally we have that TTR 250 that we keep elsewhere and bring out as needed.
So who's riding the 250 then?
The 250, we've only had one student. I think his name was Tennessee. We call him Too Tall. But yeah, he was about 6'5".
Oh, wow.
I'm not kidding. He was 16 years old and 6'5", and we knew that he would squash even the 125s. So we asked a member, we put the call out is what we do. And then a San Francisco Motorcycle Club member, once again, Mel Enberg, loaned us his bike for that class. And then he, this past year, donated it to First Rides. So I think we are actually up to 8 in the fleet now. And then we got our 2 personal bikes that we loan. But yeah, so that is now formally a First Rides bike. We signed that over and we've taken on the registration and all that jazz. But yeah, that's been only used once. We've only had one kid that needed the 250. 125s are big. You have to understand, we have all the weights, by the way. So if anyone's curious, you can go to firstrides.org. and go to resources, our resources page. And right at the top of that page, I have bikes ordered by size. We have bikes ordered by size, and then we list the weights of all of them. We will also be adding their seat heights. So that can readily help parents understand, hey, my kid's inseam is this. You know what I mean? This bike's going to be way too tall. Or this bike can be way too heavy.
Yeah. And do you give recommendations about, what kind of size of child can handle what weight of bike? Because that might be a formula that's a bit alien to parents. It's like, okay, my kid's 70 pounds.
Definitely.
What kind of bike is?
It's a great question. So yes, now when I look at height, I can go like, okay, this is right. Like, so for instance, 4 feet, they're going to be fine on a 50. Below 4 feet, that's going to be difficult, right? Once they're, 4.5 feet, now we're looking at one of the 70 or perhaps the 90. But interestingly, we adjust on the fly. Like, so once they're at 5 feet, now we can get them on like an 80 perhaps.
Right.
Like, and they're going to need to be at least 5.5 feet to think about a 125. So we adjust on the fly. Like this past class, we had 5 students. We had a kid show up. He's 7 and he was really tall. But then when we got there, we also realized he was like a linebacker. And then we had a kid who was 9 or 10 who we had lined up for the 90, and we had the 7-year-old on the 70, but the 9-year-old was terrified of the 90, right? And he was about this big around, right?
Oh.
And so they were about the same height.
So you just switched them.
And the 7-year-old kid was like drooling for the 90. And I'm like, let's try this. Right.
Now, are you young ladies also?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I would say at least a quarter of our students.
That's great.
Have been young ladies, and they've been, many of our best students, I'll be honest with you, both, speed wise, temperament wise, just, all around, frankly. So we want more female students, many more female students, and we want more female volunteers. We have just a few, and I think that really inspires the young ladies as well. So we need more.
I'm sorry. So I'm curious, can kids come back for like round 2, round 3?
That's a great question, Jeff.
If you have capacity.
I wish, so what we have done in the past is we'll have the kids come back and help and volunteer.
Okay.
And that's been really great. But we do try to limit it to just that first ride, like the name says, because we're trying to reach as many kids as possible. And if we start down that path, it's like, then we really need to do that for every kid, right? And then we're going to end up teaching 5 kids a year, and they'll be solid.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we're really asking the parents to meet us in the middle there.
What you're aiming to do is give 20 kids just that first taste. Light that spark.
Big time. So like as an example, like we had a parent come up to us. We were out doing something. I forget. I forget where we were, but I knew we had our first ride stuff, and they started talking with us. And they're like, oh my gosh, I wish I'd have known about this. My son really wanted to learn. I went out and got a bike for him. And then I went out and got a bike for me. I spent thousands of dollars on each of them. We went out the first day. My son fell over and never wanted to get back on the bike. And there they sit in the garage.
Right.
And I was just kind of like heartbroken for them, right? Because I'm like, well, if we could have just like worked with you for one day, you would both be so stoked, but instead now you've kind of written it off. And I told him, I'm like, hey, come back. Like it's never too late to learn. And he's like, he's moved on. And I was like, damn, we lost one. You know what I mean? Like they could be another motorcyclist out there or 2 with their parent. That's what we want, Well, we're really, the model is, the way I see this is the community pool. Everyone is welcome, right? You might have your nominal fee or whatever, but it's not this, what I want to remove, I'll be honest with you. I saw this at Hollister and so on, is it's becoming really much a money thing.
Yes.
Like if you don't have a toy hauler and the latest bike and all that jazz, and that breaks my heart, right? Because I want every single person in the world to welcome this. And if you travel, as everyone in this room has done or will do, you will see that the vast majority of the world uses 2-wheel transportation like crazy.
True. Yep.
Go anywhere else in the world and it is a way of life. And so it really, the weather's great here. Why aren't there more of us? You know what I mean? Because it's intimidating. And what happens is the kids learn at 18, they get a Gixxer, now they're in jeans and they crash and maybe they get really hurt, right? And so we can eliminate that.
Or they just have a bad experience and this isn't for me.
You're
because
right.
Nobody's shown them the proper way forward. So, quit blubbering, industry, and start doing something about it. So how many of the local motorcycle shops like Gilroy, like the San Jose stores, know about First Rides?
The great question. So we really did that outreach September before last. So September of 2023, we visited about 10 shops in a day, and that helped a ton because some of them had not heard about us whatsoever. We left stickers and flyers and business cards in each of those. We've developed relationships with many of them. So for instance, Motor Cafe, over in San Jose has our flyers hanging up. Of course, I already mentioned Fault Line, Power Sports. And so Santa Clara Cycle Accessories has been fantastic. RMC Moto promotes us over in Sunnyvale. So they've been huge. Rick Carmona there. So over time in our target area of the South Bay, we've been doing more and more outreach, Emma.
And that is your target area. So most of the kids are coming from the South Bay.
Most of the kids are, but we have had kids all the way from, say, Bakersfield and Fresno.
Wow.
They rent a hotel room the night before, and then they're right there in San Jose, and they show up, and it really, I was like, damn, okay, this is cool. You know what I mean? Like we're really doing something worthwhile. And so we've served kids from all over the place.
Yeah, well, I'm curious again with Hayden. So where are you at in your motorcycle journey? How long ago did you take the class, and where are you at with things?
I think I took it 2 years ago. And from there, last Christmas, I got my first motorcycle. Or I got two.
Oh, wait, what'd you get?
What?
Give us the details.
Wow.
What'd you get?
So I got a dirt bike, just to try it out. And then I got a Honda Monkey for my normal bike.
Monkey.
Nice.
And so we tried the dirt bike, and we had to get rid of it a little early because we were trying it out. And all of a sudden, it just started going full speed, and I was new to it, and I couldn't figure out how to turn it off because I couldn't let go.
Right.
And so it turned
I
out
like where this is going.
it turned out that there was fuel problems with it or something. But luckily, from first rides, I knew that there was an automatic off switch,
good
and I
job.
just pushed that, and boom, and I landed safely.
Safety first.
I like that. I like the fact that you landed. Not stop landed.
So
Anyway,
now
sorry.
you've got the monkey.
So that's the
Yes.
monkey.
So now, how old are you now, Hayden?
I'm 12.
12. So you got a while before you can ride on the street,
Yes.
but you can ride around the HOA. And
Yes, and we do that. I do it occasionally with my dad.
I think occasionally is the watchword here. I think if it was an hourly thing,
Especially while you're sitting next to your mother.
Yeah.
That is the correct answer.
Get the sidecar for that.
He does amazing on it. I'm very proud of him. He's very cognizant of his surroundings and the people, because I work in insurance. I'm extremely paranoid about these things, hitting people, I could go on. And so he's very, very comfortable with his environment. He looks everywhere he's
Even use my turn signals.
Yay.
But
Someone.
I think this is no secret. It's proper, substantial training from a very early age. See, the thing is, you think about the way languages are learned. When you're a kid, you can be bilingual like that if you want. As you get older, it gets harder and harder and harder. So if we're teaching kids these skills you were 9 when you started,
Yeah.
right? 9 years old, 6 years old. They're going to pick it up. And these are skills they're going to keep with them for their lifetime.
So I'm curious, Hayden, would you care, like on a dirt bike, whether it was electric or gas? Do you have a preference at all?
I do not. As long as I enjoy riding it, that's all that matters.
It's a good answer.
Well, I've seen, I follow something on Instagram. It's called Moto Academy. It's like a dirt bike, motocross school kind of thing. And they teach people of different ages, but they've started teaching with one of the Stark electric bikes. Because they can do one hand drills easily. You can talk while you're riding. And I hadn't really thought about it, but the young the kids now, they dig the electric bikes, and the government's kind of shoving the electrics down our throat, especially here in California a little bit. But you fast forward 10 or 12 years, and the batteries are going to be completely different than they are now in the electric stuff and all. I mean, we all love the gas bikes. We all just do. But that could be something where it transitions motorcycles, as the kids go from their Sierrons or their Super 73s to,
Right.
To zero. Yeah.
yeah.
But I think
whatever it might be.
the commonality between them both is getting these kids trained.
Well,
and getting
what
this
he said,
culture.
fun. Make it
Yeah,
fun.
well, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's it. It's this, if you can find the formula of keeping them safe and making it fun, that's everything. Because generally, in my experience of being a kid, and it was a long time ago, but I didn't like doing anything that wasn't fun. So if you can make learning safety stuff fun, you've got it made in the shade.
Thank you, Emma. I mean, we really try to cater to their attention span. So
Right.
as an example, so my wife's a second grade school teacher, and the saying is, they have a minute of attention for every year of their life, right? And so
Right.
if you're dealing with a 6-year-old, you've got about 6 minutes of talking before they need to be doing something. And so we really try not to overload them with everything in one shot, but
So-
piecemeal it.
So how does that manifest itself into a training day? What time do you start? And does everybody start at the same time? Or is it, he's pulled out a
I've got
schedule.
some paper.
I've got my handy checklist.
So let's
You can pass it around even.
because I'm very, very interested because you are dealing with tiny children.
Uh-huh.
And let's have a look.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, what it doesn't show is how long this lasts.
It's great. So we asked the parents be there at the park at 8:30 And then we can go ahead and get them geared up and get them on the course by, say, 9:30.
Okay.
And then we ride right up until around 2 or 2:30, depending on how things are going. And then we like to end on a good note, and no major crashes at the end of the day. And if they're tired or if they're starting to, show fatigue, then we'll end it somewhere around 2. If they're, rocking and rolling and they're fresh, then maybe we'll push on until 2:30, just kind of depending on when we started. And then, so basically we get them geared up, and we have the parents help them get geared up, because as we mentioned, we really want to ingrain this in the parents. Most of these kids are young. They're not going to remember this.
Can I read through this, please?
I wish you would.
Okay. So we have the first ride coaches checklist. General reminders: cover hand signals, don't stop on the track, learn to stop before you start, eyes up always, look as far forward as possible, keep wrists flat and relaxed, listen to the engine, find a steady RPM. And then for the first rides coaches, for quick reference, gear from head to toe, and explaining the importance of gear along the way, right, Hayden?
Yep.
Bike component understanding and safety check, and of course that's a big one, including governor screws on smaller bikes, because little children's bikes, and I think I did monkeying around with the governor screws on a couple of your bikes, Jim. They always come with governor screws that you can really screw them down, so they and it'll do about 1 mile an hour for the tiny children. And then you take the governor screw off and it takes off like a scalded cat.
Or a lawnmower for some people.
Or a monkeyed around lawnmower.
Lawnmowers for everyone.
Dave, how old was Clay when he swung his leg over his first mini bike?
I guess he was 6, 7. How old were you? I don't remember.
So it was 6 on the mini bike.
Yeah.
It was 5 on the lawnmower.
Oh, my
Right.
All
In
right.
fact, if you go to firstrides.org, you'll see that faded out photo at the top is me and my sister in 1977 on the little, rigid framed lawnmower started mini bike.
Right
That's
on.
size 6.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we've got an introduction to braking, no throttle bike off, controlling the throttle and clutch at standstill, starting and stopping, riding in a straight line, riding ovals with stops, switching directions, body positioning is a good one, standing up on the pegs, slaloms, traversing hills, riding over obstacles, climbing hills, and you start at the smallest, and then you're mindful of the skill level. Slow race for life. Okay, let's talk about the slow
This was
race.
Donovan's idea, and I just think it's the best, because we always tell the kids, this is not a race, this is not a race. And then toward the end of the day, once they've really started to put everything together, we ask them to do slow races, which I have to say is this huge hit, and it really shows their composure. You all have done this, and for those of you who aren't familiar, you line up and you're attempting to go as slowly as possible, which is a great skill to have. Parking lot maneuvers types things. And these kids they excel at it. They're really good. I don't know if I could beat these kids. By the end of the day, their slow races are great.
And of course, it's great for balance, and it's great for throttle control and clutch control if they're working a clutch.
Exactly.
And then you finish out with figure eights, and it's unlikely but optional, and if you have the extra time. But
We haven't done it in a long time.
yeah, right.
It's pretty terrifying.
At the end of the day, you can race Clay on the flat track.
No, those kids have ripped me up, man. I'm rusty.
But for a tiny child, 8:30 to 2:30 is a long day.
It
Well,
is.
and you accomplish a lot if you're doing, the figure eights and over obstacles and eyes up. That's a lot of learning in one
Are any
day.
of these kids that like, oh, I need nap time right now? Or are they like, go, no, I want to go.
You'll see them do this a lot. They wave their hands around a lot because they want to rest their wrists in their hands. You can, because you understand
right.
there's a lot of strength required there. But the vast majority of them are like, no, I don't want to get off the bike. No, I don't want to get off the bike. No, I don't want to. And so we'll kind of like mandate, hey, we're going to take a break. Please go get some water. Get some water. But we also do let them take a break whenever they want, of course. And we ask them to do that. If you're getting fatigued, you're getting tired, only you know that.
Once again, we're going to the youngest person in the room. You didn't want to get off the bike, did you?
No, I did not.
What was your favorite part of the class? Was it like the obstacles or the?
Yeah, I like the little jumps, and time flew by. It felt like an hour, maybe.
Right.
Mm.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and it was very fun, and then I liked to just take it slow, and then earlier about the slow races. Me and my dad do that occasionally, and it's like slowest person wins, and I always lose because I like to take it fast.
Okay. You speed demon. So, Michelle, I want to talk a little bit about Donovan's role in this, and Donovan can't speak for himself because at the moment,
he's got a handful of dongs.
Yeah. What time is it in Vietnam?
He's I think they're 16 hours ahead. So.
Oh God. So yeah, he's doing something. Meanwhile, so Donovan's in Vietnam with Liza. So what is Donovan's role in all this? Because Donovan, he was pretty much there from the beginning, wasn't he?
Well, it's interesting because Donovan, being Donovan, hopped into motorcycles out of nowhere. One day he was like, yeah, I think I want to ride a motorcycle. He bought a motorcycle and off he went, and that's just become his passion, which is interesting. How he does that, I will not know. But since he wanted something to do with Hayden that was outdoors and not video game related or computer related, because so many kids now, that's their focus, that's their life, is the screens. He wanted something outdoors that they could both do. And so he went to the class with Hayden. He found it, and I don't even know how he found it. I don't know if he was looking for something to get Hayden on a bike, something like that, but he found it. He went to the class and he said, I want to help. He was so excited about it and thought it was just the coolest thing that these kids were out there. And he was like, I want to help. And they just, became fast friends. And here we are.
Well, I mean, Clay's a pretty easy cat to like, and Donovan's the same. So I'd be really surprised if they clash.
Donovan is intrinsic. I mean, he's just come up with so many good ideas and he executes on them. He really does.
So, Hayden, if you had a choice between playing Madden or riding your motorcycle, what would you do?
Motorcycle.
That's a great answer. I mean, there you go.
So are you looking to maybe start doing some dirt biking again? Because it is probably the safest kind of motorcycling you can do.
Mm-hmm. I would really look forward to that. And we are trying to get a different bike from the Monkey, but it's a clutch, and I do power those. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
Cool.
Well, mastering a clutch it's a challenge, but I know you're going to be up to it.
Thank you.
Thinking ahead, Donovan, God,
You're
forgive
great.
me, Clay.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, well, there you go. Have you ever thought about having some of the older students like Hayden come back? And almost being impromptu instructors? Because, I think this cat's, he's mature enough to be an instructor for a little child. How would you like to do that?
That'd be fun. And I did get one of my friends to do it, but I wasn't there.
You see, I think that would be a wonderful thing.
Definitely. Hayden, you're always welcome, my friend.
Thank you.
We've had another student named Patrick who's come out and helped. He's one of the junior rangers now, and he went through our program.
Oh, no kidding. So, the alumni program.
Yeah. The way we've always worked down here at the Recycle Garage is we'll teach somebody the simplest task, like change your oil, lubricate and adjust your chain.
Right.
That person now becomes the perfect tutor for somebody who's never performed that task before. And so the knowledge is passed on. And I think because you're specifically dealing with children, having children who've been through the program, who've now become more experienced motorcyclists, this would be a great, even if they're not like official instructors, because I know legally you can't enslave and make children work. There's some tiny laws that do
Only
that.
if we pay them.
Yeah, right. But
unpaid labor's fine.
Just having like impromptu instructors and like, okay, go team, I think it'd be a wonderful addition.
So I love this, Emma.
What is the qualification to be a volunteer and to come and help?
That's a great question. So there are a handful of us, Donovan, myself, and Devin, who are all certified with the United States Motorcycle Coaching Association, which is a great organization that makes sure that we are trained in children's safety as well as motorcycling safety. And then we oversee the volunteers. They sign up. We ask for their first class to just basically come out and watch. And then they observe. And then we work with them to understand how we deal with the kids. It's a lot about etiquette, as you would imagine. It's etiquette with the kids, and then we're teaching the kids etiquette, on the track. And so the volunteers, basically follow our leads. And then some of them have kind of continued on their education. Some of them are MSF instructors, for instance, already before they came to us, or not. That's California Motorcycle Safety Program instructors and so on. And then, so what we're trying to do is get more of them certified. And so we have a program right now where if you sign up and become a first rides coach, we will pay for your certification through United States Motorcycle Coaching
Wow,
Association.
that's huge.
Yeah, it's $200.
Wow.
It used to be we would pay half. If you taught 4 classes, we would cover half. But Donovan has suggested, and we've agreed, if you come and teach those classes, we'll pay for your entire certification. So
And there's a commitment on the other side of it to teach X amount of classes.
Well, hopefully.
4, just 4.
Just
But
4.
yeah,
That's great.
exactly.
And having worked with children in the past,
And they don't have to be consecutive. Sorry.
you may be a great instructor, you may be a very highly qualified instructor, but not of suitable temperament to work with children. What do you look for in an instructor? I mean, patience, of course.
Yeah. I mean, they have to be amiable, right?
Yeah.
Like right out of the gate. And so the beauty of volunteerism is it's kind of self-fulfilling. Thankfully, curmudgeons don't tend to sign up to spend an entire Saturday catering to young kids. So we tend to end up with very nice, wonderful people, you know. So we've got a fellow by the name of Dean. I'm trying to get on the board, perhaps Dean Tingen.
Dino.
Yeah, exactly. So you have folks who are, you know, we're all doing it out of the goodness of our hearts. And so, you know, what we explain to them is once we get them up and running, we're kind of corner workers. We really want the kids to ride as much as possible, Emma, because we have seen kind of the antithesis of this, where we've seen overcoaching as an example, where you're stopping the kid every lap and you have to like talk to them and then at the end of the day, they've ridden like 10 minutes. It's like,
Right,
it feels
and it's
like,
not been an enjoyable experience for the child, and they
Back to
might
the
think
attention
twice
span.
about, yeah, right.
yeah, they don't have the attention span for that. They don't want to sit in a class on a Saturday. They want to ride a motorbike. Let them do that. And so we basically enable them. Once we get them up and running, you know, we'll check them and make sure they're not developing bad habits. You know, little things like we really do kind of harp on them leaning over to the left when they stop, right?
Right.
Because we want them to know that they need to use both brakes when they're coming to a stop. Because one day, as we explained, you're going to be on a hill. And you're going to hope that you lean over the left, I promise you, because your front brake is not going to be enough and you're going to go sliding and stuff. And so, you know, you kind of make a habit of leaning over the left when you stop.
Right.
And just little things like that. And then, but we really focus upon braking and have them go through that before we're even running. And then we observe them, you know, in the first probably 20 or 30 minutes, we spend a lot of time like having them stop twice a lap and we observe them braking. And then, like I say, we get in, and then later in the day, we get into body positioning. We don't do all of that at once. We're like, okay, now we're going to get you thinking about the slaloms. You're going to be going through the slaloms. So now let's get into body positioning. You know, now you're going to want to, you know, like get your elbows up, scoot forward more. Maybe you're willing to stand. Let's go through that, the mechanics of that. Even pressure as you're applying, because you're probably a bicyclist and so you're used to doing this.
Right.
Now, when you stand, if you push, it's going to lean that way. And that's going to be very useful in a moment when you're going through the slaloms. But right now, I want you to stand evenly. Right?
Now, this is one-on-one, so one instructor, one child. Obviously, it starts off the instructor standing. I mean, I'm picturing it now. The child's on the motorcycle, instructor standing next to them. Now they're riding, and now they're riding around a track. The instructor running alongside them or following on a bike.
That's a great question, Emma. That's great. To begin with, it's kind of, we're pushing them. So before the bike is running, this is one of Donovan's excellent ideas is we push them around. You know, grab the subframe and we're pushing the bikes.
So they can feel the movement.
They can practice balancing on the bike. They're much heavier. The smallest bike we have is 100 pounds. You know, so this can be a lot different than a bicycle. And then we get them practicing the brakes, and we're pushing them around for probably 15 minutes. It's kind of exhausting, to be honest with you. Just getting them to use the brakes. Then we get the bikes running. And now we're going to spend some time where they're in neutral and we're having them listen to the throttle. And we're like, and we emphasize, you know, like everything is done right here. Like this is all you ever need. You're never in this class going to need to reach around and grab a handful of throttle. Right. We explain what whiskey throttle is.
Yeah.
Definitely. My daughter did this when she was learning. It was such a reset because I forgot the governor screw. Right. My son had been ripping around in the 50 And I put her on it, and I she takes off and she loops it, right?
Launch her into the redwoods.
Yeah, I catch the bike, but she gets spun off, and it was probably a year or two reset, right?
Yeah,
so instead of her learning at 5
real.
as he did, it was like it could have been 7. If I'd have just had that governor screw in. So that's on the list. But yeah, so we literally have them listening, and it's like, hear that? That's all you need. If you're hearing it racing, that's not good, right? That's going to send you. And we explain to the kids, as fast as we can run, once you're up and moving, we will not be able to catch you. And so this is really important for the kids because, like I say, they come in with this reluctance and trepidation. And I tell them how healthy that is because that's called self-preservation. You know what I mean? Once you get on a bike and you take off, only you can stop you. And so it's imperative that you understand the responsibility. You're talking about power, Hayden. And so with power comes responsibility, right? You can hurt someone else on these things too, right? You can rev up your engine and get someone thrown off a horse.
These are pretty tough concepts for children, though. But they take it in.
Definitely, Emma. So, you all understand how kids operate. So when you're really young, you're 6 months, a year, we're locking every drawer, right? We're like, once they're mobile, it's like everything, because you can't explain to a 6-month-old or a year-old what the danger of a knife is.
Yeah. Don't drown in the toilet.
Right. But once they're older, now they're 2 or 3, it's like, hey, that's sharp. So my son always talks about, we were camping and he really wanted to get near the fire ring. And I had to tell him 1,000 times, it's really hot, don't do that. Really hot, don't do that. And of course, eventually, I think he's 4 or 5 and he touches it and he goes, ah. And he knows. He goes, that was really hot. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I told you 1,000 times, please don't do that, right?
Right.
But at that age, he can learn and make small mistakes, right? And that's what life's about. So, but we always talk about, you can learn from your mistakes, you can learn from someone else's mistakes, right? And if you can learn from someone else's, all the better. You know what I mean? They took the fall, I didn't have to take the fall. Cool. You sent it, I did not, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Live to ride another day. And so the kids, you'd be surprised how mature they are. Like, it's so wonderful watching them in a single day going from being nervous, almost terrified sometimes. You know what I mean? And like I say, we don't require anyone rides. The moment you don't feel like riding, park it. No stigma.
Have you ever come across a child who was just too timid to ride?
We've had kids that have almost invariably all of them try it. But we have had a handful of kids after about half the day they're done.
And
it's
they're just
not
like
for
this.
them.
Right.
We expected at least one class like that. We actually, I'll be honest with you, when we first started this, we thought it'd be like half and half. Because it's not for everyone. It is dangerous.
Have you ever had the flip side of that? Like just some little kid that's going to be a speed demon and you're like, this
my
kid
gosh.
gets it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
We had these 2 young ladies in our very first class. It's actually probably the most poignant of all of them is these 2 kids. There was a fellow by the name of John, Jon, who signed up, and he wrote the reason why he wanted them to learn is, hey, he's an avid street biker, and he wanted to teach his daughters. They were 6 and 8 at this point, but he had contracted cancer. He had cancer, and he was dying. And, man, I just wept, in our very first, we had a train the trainer day. We paid a professional. Like I say, we paid one professional for about a year and another professional for another year studying under them before Donovan and I took our show on the road, basically. And, so this fellow's like, I just want my kids to learn, but I'm not able to teach them. Now I don't have the health or the wealth, the money to do it.
Right.
Man, I totally understand it. So our August Train the Trainer Day, I read that to all the trainers who had signed up, some of them misfits, and told them, I'm like, this is why we do this, right? Like, this is the importance. Like, yes, it's recreation. But so sure enough, the mom shows up with the 2 daughters and I go over and ask, I'm like, where's John? I was so callous. I didn't think about it. This is now from August. He applied. It's like July he applied. We're exchanging emails in August. September's the class. And he's not there. I ask, where's John? And she says he passed away and the little girls are standing there. And of course I just had to do everything I could not to start crying, I've got our vice president, Dave Simpson, at that point standing next to me, and I just kind of grabbed his shoulder, and, man,
take your time.
We got those girls on those bikes and they absolutely ripped. They're still some of the best students I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, The younger, the 6-year-old, was a whirlwind and very controlled. We've had other kids as fast, but not as controlled.
Now, was this their first time on a bike?
I mean, they had been on the back of their father's bike many, many times. And so I guess they had gotten the sensation down.
Right. But how many times have you heard that children learn by observation?
Definitely.
And all the time they're taking something in. You can tell a kid what you want, but if you're telling them something and you're doing something else,
Mm-hmm.
they'll know.
Definitely. Well, they're on the back of your bike, right? I mean, they're getting
they're
all
observing.
of that. Definitely.
Wow.
So they absorb something from their father that you help carry the torch
we
with.
helped.
The organization did. So that's pretty powerful, right?
So the one thing we haven't talked about is there a cost for kids to be involved in this program?
It's a great question. It's $6 to get into the Metcalf Park, and we do ask them to cover that because I want to support Metcalf, and I want them to get used to going there and doing this. But we charge a fully refundable $50 deposit that we hand them back the day they show up. We only instituted that after about a year because we had numerous no-shows.
Oh,
right. And if somebody is no-showing, they're taking that spot away.
We have a wait list now because we have kids that didn't show, and that's so unfair to the other kids just because they signed up later, because it's first come, first serve. So you sign up, you're in, basically. But one of our other board members wisely suggested, hey, ask the parents for a tiny bit of skin. But I say in the welcome letter, they fill out the Google Docs form. I send them a form letter that basically says, hello, I replace the names, make sure the date's right, and say, hey, you're welcome to the next class. We ask for a, fully refundable $50 deposit. And if you can't pay that, please just let us know and you don't have to pay it. We just really ask that you show up because we had no shows, and we just tell them in the form letter why we ask for that. I want it to be entirely free, and it essentially is. And we do hand them back that check every time. And now it's a Venmo. We accept that as well, and we refund that. And so, because I want it to be free, I really want it to be a gift.
Yeah. So in that vein, it's not free, right? Just the maintenance of the bicycles alone, just owning motorcycles costs money, right? So if you don't mind sharing, how do you fund this? I
love it.
And again, then how can we help? Is the next question, but how do you fund this thing?
And what kind of donations do you want to?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, really, we're seeking volunteers. Guys, that would be great. More volunteers. We run on a shoestring budget. So when we first started, it was expensive because we paid professional trainers, we rented bikes, we would have to go buy gear on the fly and that kind of stuff. And so we've really reduced our costs. It used to be about $8,000 a year, and we've got it down to less than that. I mean, less than half of that now. It costs us roughly about $1,000 class when you do it all right. You know what I mean? If you think about every little thing.
So your annual budget's for how much? 10,000 or less?
It's like
no, you said 4,000.
It's $4,000.
Wow.
This is like grassroots as you know what. Yeah. This is awesome, man.
Totally, dude.
It's all going to the program.
Yeah. No one's getting paid. And now we have our inventory. And so it all goes toward insurance, sanctioning, park rentals. We pay to have the kids insured, become AMA, American Motorcycle Association members for the day. So we pay $20 per kid. So we have a class of 5 kids. I cut a $100 check.
But you see, what I find exciting is we've got people listen all over the country. In fact, all over the world. If you can run this program for $4,000 a year in California, how much could you run this program for in North Carolina, in Texas, on the East Coast? You can think it through and offer this program in your hometown, and it's not going to break the bank. And we're going to be getting kids on these things.
And we will help you.
So
we will help you.
We'll
templatize this.
I run a nonprofit for a living, so
wonderful.
I'm going to throw this out. So if there was a listener that wanted to fund you for a year, how would they do that?
Wow. That's incredible.
4 listeners who wanted to fund you for a year. I mean, we're not talking about a large amount of money here. We're talking about, so how do they do that?
Well, so thank you. We have both a GoFundMe campaign. I don't think we still met our goal from 2021 there, but that's okay. And then we have Venmo now. And so, where do they find both of those go directly into our local bank account for First Rides. And so all of that is available, my friend, on firstrides.org. There is a help link. Actually, there's donation information on the homepage as well. And if you click help, then that also, how you can help is what it amounts to. That also has the information.
And if somebody had a TTR 125 that's running that wanted to donate it, could they also do that?
Definitely. That's huge. And that's where the vast majority of our bikes have come. We've bought I would say we bought half, and the other half have been essentially donated, or they cut us a huge break, for instance. So we would love that. Definitely. And we also we've even received street bikes that we've sold and then profited from that. And then sometimes our most significant donations have come from cash donations, or members of the San Francisco Motorcycle Club or others. Barry Hobbs, SFMC, he sold a CBR 1000, and he donated half of the proceeds of that. It was like almost $4,000.
Wow. So if somebody donates
Dave Lieberman, 2,500. Yeah.
Somebody donates a CBR 1000, they could get an in-kind donation form from you, right? And that could be a tax write-off.
Definitely. I just sent someone.
Right.
One.
So you are a 501c3. So
we're a 501c3 as of last spring.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Any donations made to First Ride, straight off your
either money or material.
Yes,
Well,
definitely.
more importantly, time is what you're asking
Volunteers.
for, right? Time.
We really want people to come out and help, because we want to make this sustainable. You know what I mean? And so we're really trying to keep it on a shoestring budget, keep it grassroots. And to your point, Emma, like I say, we stand ready to help other people around the country and the world set up shop.
Well, having done it,
what
I mean, you basically set this up in the middle of a pandemic in one of... California has always been a very motorcycle-friendly state, but as far as administration goes, we like bureaucracy here in California.
There's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
I think that's the least popular thing with the parents.
People don't realize how much paperwork it is to do a nonprofit.
So much paperwork.
But you've got this template
There's like 5
now.
pieces of paper that the parents have to fill out just to do the class.
Yeah.
But having got this template of how it operates now...
so franchises, First Ride franchises.
Well, franchises involve
help.
money.
Just help.
But I just,
Just do, so what we tell people, Emma, this is a great question. We tell people, we've had numerous people write, and we give them 3 options. 1, wing it. Just go out and teach people. Cool. That's how it's operated for the last 120 years or whatever. You know what I mean? 2, be somewhat formal. And then you have you're an organization of some sort, you have your insurance, perhaps, these kinds of things. Or 3, go the full kit. This is what we did is, we became an incorporate, and we're an entity in California. We are an entity with the IRS.
Right.
We are a sanctioned service promoter with the American Motorcyclist Association. We secure insurance through their third-party liability company. The full kit.
Right.
We try to be as official as possible. Because 1 is my wife demanded it. She's like, are you kidding me? You just want to go teach people out of the back of your truck? You're insane. But then 2, really, we're trying to model the behavior we want of the kids. We want them to be responsible. We want them to register their bikes. We don't want them to wheelie through crowds. Wheelie, but do it in the right place.
When I opened my shop, I wanted exactly the same thing. I wanted to make sure I was registered with the Bureau of Automotive Repair. I wanted to make sure I had every single permit I needed for waste oil, for waste tires, and it's so frustrating because the way it works in California, say, okay, you need this form. So, oh, great. But then you find out to get that form, you need to have done this beforehand. So,
Definitely.
And it's something as simple as getting a license to operate in the city of Marina. I had to be registered with the Bureau of Automotive Repair and be registered with the Bureau of Automotive Repair. Now I had to have waste oil and waste tires and so on and so forth. So you go into bureaucracy land, but it's worth it at the end because I try and run my business in a very honest and legitimate way. You're trying to do First Rides that way. But now you've got this sustainable prototype that you can pass on to other people and say,
Definitely.
Look, it's easier than you think.
It's really not that bad.
Right. And
a lot of it's replaceable form stuff, Emma.
And if Clay can do this in California, you can do it in your hometown.
Yeah, or if I can do it at all, let's be honest here.
Please.
You know what I mean? But no, seriously. I mean, a lot of these are like, hey, it's a PDF where you fill it out one time and then you're changing the date. You know what I mean? You're changing the sanction number, right? Like once you kind of get this thing dialed, the forms it's a headache, right? There are taxes. We have registry of charitable trusts you mentioned, for instance. It's like, oh, there are things that we haven't been doing we need to do, and so on.
Yep.
But once you dial it, and we can help.
Fantastic. Well, this is a marvelous story. I think out of all of the interviews we've done throughout December, this is my favorite. And it's not just because Clay's a local. I mean, how long have you been hanging out with us now, Clay? God, really, since the beginning.
At least a dozen years.
I think
I
a couple
say.
of naked rides you've appeared in.
Oh, yeah, I've seen Clay
I wanna
without
say.
any clothes on at all.
And we'd love
You're not
coming.
alone.
We should get Dave out there naked ride.
From Santa Cruz to San Francisco. There's
And we
definitely
do love visiting the SFMC. what great hosts you are. I think the last time we
Thank
were
you.
there was a fundraiser.
That was so fun.
Yeah. Didn't the SFMC just have a birthday recently?
120 years.
Big one, yeah.
Wow.
120
How
years.
about that?
Yeah, this is definitely in keeping with that. And just like our community, the entire Bay Area motorcycle community is so close knit.
It really is.
You know what I mean? Like I remember riding with the Vampires when I was a prospect. You know what I mean? Riding with the East Bay Rats and, all these local clubs, and we would all get together. And I love that. We look out for each other.
Right. And I think at some stage or another, everyone's been down here and visited with the Misfits. I know we've had SFMC, we've had the Dons down here. And it's just, it brings everything full circle. So, wow. I am so impressed. I wish you all the best for the future.
So once more, give us the website.
Yes, we want
Thank you.
all the details
and maybe your email
can
too if they want to reach out to you directly.
People
Thank
get a hold
you.
of you.
I love this. It's firstrides.org, all spelled out. And then the email address is ridesfirst, also spelled out, @gmail.com.
And use social media also?
Social media, definitely. So FB/firstrides.org. And then you can find all the links to our wonderful YouTube videos
great.
produced by Donovan. And we also have a micro documentary that we launched recently on our YouTube channel. And then we also have a few photos on Instagram.
Excellent.
Thanks to our beloved secretary, my wife. But I also want to give a huge shout out to Motorcycles and Misfits, because you all are one of our you're one of our inspirations. So I'd like to mention Motorcycles and Misfits, and also youth off-road riders out in Wisconsin. Melissa Ellingson, thank you. They formed before us and provided pivotal guidance to us, like
That's
we're
great.
talking about with doing this for other groups. United Moto X, a great organization locally as well. But Motorcycles and Misfits, you truly inspired me. Coming here and seeing the garage work and just giving back to the community and being a part of it, you know what I mean, and welcoming people. I love that.
Well,
It's a great ethos.
It is. And it's not always as easy as people think.
Right.
Because when you say everyone is welcome, you have to absolutely live that. And it's very, very easy welcoming people who think like you.
Right.
But when somebody is a very different thinking person to you, it's not always easy to be welcoming, but you have to be. And
we learn from them.
And we learn
You know
from
what I mean?
everyone who comes through the door.
Yeah.
And this concept of giving to the community and empowering people that they can help themselves so they can help others. That's really what this is all about. And that's been the concept of the Recycle Garage from day one.
Exactly.
Hopefully we're not just breeding motorcyclists, but we're breeding people who want to teach and help within the community. We've become this giant, supportive, loving community.
I see people recommend you all over the place. Like, hey, because someone was asking, someone was in San Jose and they're like, where can I learn about wrenching on my bike? And I saw, this is just on a random mailing list. It was actually my work mailing list, my motorcycles work mailing list. But sure enough, before I could get to it, someone was like, hey, go down to Recycle Garage in Santa Cruz.
Right.
And I'm like, that's so awesome. I love that.
Yeah, and I mean, Liza's shtick, she's always been the same. We'll get emails coming in, and we're going to get to some emails in a couple of minutes. I wish I had a Recycle Garage in my hometown. Well, start one. Start one.
That's
Exactly.
Start
It's just that simple.
Put out the chairs, and they will come. Well, I don't know anything about bikes. You don't need to start.
Just
People will come who know things about bikes.
Yeah, exactly. Figure it out. Figure it out. So, that's December really wrapped up. we've spent the
With a bow.
entirety of December interviewing people who are giving back to the motorcycling community.
As are you.
Well, you know, we all try and make our little part. You know, I'm optimistic about it. I mean, it's very, very easy to get embroiled in doom and gloom and, motorcycling's going to be finished and the internal combustion engine's going down the wayside. And I don't think so. I think what's going to keep us going and keep us strong are the people. It's going to change, and it's going to change quickly. But we've got so many good thinking people involved with this. I'm very optimistic about our future.
Me too.
Just as the garage and as motorcycling in general. What's that, you, Jim?
So do I have my sunglasses? I gotta wear shades. I just put my shades on.
That's what I'm talking about.
The future.
That's exactly right.
So
it was a good December of giving.
Yes,
it was a good theme.
So I'm going to share, because we are the Misfits and we are quite irreverent. So me and Jim are going to Vegas in February.
Yeah.
What were you searching? What were you?
I don't know if it's appropriate in our company. We were trying to find the cheapest.
Put your hands
adventure.
over your ears. The cheapest
adventure.
The cheapest adult club in Vegas.
Oh, no. Like the worst rated, I think. Is
There
what
you
we
go.
were
You can
going
take your
for.
hands off now. So
take my pop with you.
Yeah, we're hoping to have.
Okay, we do have a child in the room here, so let's.
I made him cover his ears. Didn't you not see that?
He's heard worse.
So, we're just going to read a couple of emails, and
You guys
get
can
out
stay
of
or
here.
leave if
Do
you
you want to
want.
just
Yeah.
hang out until the end of the show?
Sure, definitely. I
very
want my
good.
group photo. What are you talking about?
All right.
I just booted
So-
it.
Bagel's got emails. I have one, and you have one.
Well, as always, let's start with a bagler. What do you got, Bagel? Are we going to get an example of your fabulous accents, darling?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Getting warmed up.
Is this from Smurfland?
This is titled Happy New Year from the Mother Country.
Oh,
I'm still
Hello,
mystified.
all.
Carry on.
From Lesmore and damp and dismal Bridlington, Yorkshire, UK.
I see. Carry on.
All the best for the new year, and I hope you all have a great holiday period. Here it has been so damp, I think I'm absorbing the wet through my skin. As for riding, I just couldn't imagine considering it. Thank God I have Wendy and Ian's book, Pushing Miles, to console myself with. Great that it has literally been around the world for Ian and Wendy to sign it before it came to me just before Santa got here. Inspiring. Thanks for such a great prize from the 600th podcast.
Oh, yes, of course. It was a prize winner. Yes, yes.
You're supposed to sit on
Indeed.
your motorcycle when you read it.
It is just what I needed to get through the dark days of January, looking forward to better days ahead. I'm already planning next riding season's adventures while fighting rust in my workshop. Sometimes it is fighting back. No wonder we called our YouTube channel Spanner Rash. Why do stuck fasteners only let go when your knuckles are aimed at something really solid or sharp? I've taught myself a few new cuss words to keep me going. Anyway, Happy New Year once again, and let's hope we all have a prosperous and fun 2025. Take care, Les.
Oh,
So now listen, I am going to let you in about a secret about Yorkshiremen. Bagel, turn to your right. Turn to your right. Turn to your right. See that scooter behind you?
Yes,
Yes, the one with S128 on it.
Yes.
Very nice shade of white, isn't it?
it is.
That's about the colour of a Yorkshireman's skin in the winter.
It's a little phosphorus.
How damp is Yorkshire in January?
Oh, it
Seems a wee bit bleak.
it's grim up north. It really is.
It's not as damp as Oregon is.
Yes,
I'll
I was
say.
going to say it's very damp.
Well, cheers and well done.
Cheers, Les.
Johnny.
Mhm.
Johnny.
Yes.
Johnny. Email me, Johnny.
Okay. So this is from Alex Hearn.
Hey, Alex.
Do you think it's Alexander
I can't
or
do the-
Alexandria?
It says Alex right here.
Well, yeah. Do you?
I don't know. I'm not assuming anything.
Okay, best not to.
I can't do the Australian accent like you, Bagel. Sorry.
G'day, mate.
Hello. No. Hi from sunny Australia. Finally, firstly, episode 605 was outstanding. Google Alan Kempster. He was...
I got the same bloody email.
I got another one for you then. He was known as Half Man because he was a double amputee who raced without any prosthetic. He was a true gentleman and had an inspiration to many people, and I'm glad that I shared a racetrack with him and a cold beer and a meal afterwards. Liza, if he doesn't get you out of that bloody Jeep and back on two wheels, nothing will. Right. Oh, amen to that. Best wishes, Alex.
Cheers, Alex. That's
now
great.
he included a YouTube link about this guy. Amazing.
And it was one arm and one leg
on the same side.
Wow.
Oh.
And he refused to wear any prosthetics, and he was just out on the track and going pretty quick as well.
Go check him out, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. So I have an email here from John Burkhard, and the message goes, "Hey there, Misfits. I'd like to add another great racer for you to consider, as I haven't heard his name mentioned. Dick Mann of Richmond, California.
Dick Mann, what I can ride.
Legend.
Also in the movie On Any Sunday, he was the winner of Daytona 200 in 1970 on the new Honda CB 750, and again in 71 on a BSA triple, beating other notables, Mike Aylward, of course, and Paul Smart. He was runner-up at Daytona twice in 58 and 59. Daytona was a huge international race during all these years, unlike the last few decades. Dick also earned the AMA #1 plate in 63 and again in 71. He was also the first rider to complete the Grand Slam, winning a national in all 5 disciplines: short track, half mile, mile, TT and road race. He was also a pioneering and competitive racer in US motocross racing and earned a bronze at the Isle of Man International 6 Days Trial in 1975.
Wow. So I will nominate him. Remember the podcast about who's the best motorcyclist of all time?
He's up there, yeah.
Why would that not be a contender?
Back in the old days,
that 5-race discipline.
Yeah, these guys, there was a
real
lot
deal.
more crossover.
Yep.
Anyway, Dick continued racing armor off-road events at a very high level until around 2018. Dick was also involved with the development of OSA motorcycles and the Yankee 500. I
didn't know that about OSA.
Yeah. Yeah, the Yankee 500 is death trap. 2 OSA 250s just joined side by side. What could go wrong with that? Have you ever seen Dick Mann on a replica OSA track bike? Stunning. He knew how to make things work a lot like Malcolm. If you can find a copy, Man of His Time is a great read. P.S. Oh, we're coming to the good bit now. P.S. Liza, enough about the Jeep pile. They have their place, just not on a motorcycle podcast, unless Jim is telling us about blowing one up at a bonfire at Johnson Valley while using a KLR for target practice. The KLR would probably still get you home. And once again, that is from John. Thank you for a great email, John.
So we get to shoot Liza's Jeep when she comes out.
Absolutely.
Let me rant about this. Back in the day, he's right. The Daytona 200 was the real deal. I mean, you had everybody there.
Yeah.
Because I grew up 15 miles from that track, so we used to go every year. I saw all Eddie Lawson, Freddie Spencer,
Rich Pridmore.
Everybody was
well, and a lot of the English riders as well.
And it went away. And now it's a 600 a super sport race, which is fine. I mean, good, but I miss that.
Did they race on different format tracks, or did all of them have that big high
No,
bank
so what
turn?
they did is they would come around the oval, they'd have a chicane in the back, come around the second oval, and then go through the infield, and then kick back out and go back to the first oval.
Because when they used to race with that big high bank turn, that was bitch.
They did that, and I think that's part of the reason why.
Well, who blew up their rear tire and slid like half a mile?
Oh, that's Barry Sheen.
Barry Sheen.
So
that's
Barry Sheen went down at Daytona in 75, and he had a blowout at 176 miles an hour, which at that time was the fastest recorded crash.
Wow.
And it still might be. It might be the fastest recorded crash that somebody...
There's probably been land speed records that have been
Well,
faster
but
than
somebody survived.
Maybe.
And the scene in Daytona back in the day, now it's a big Harley thing. It wasn't that; it was everything. They had all kind of racing going on at the same time. They had the international motorcycle shows there. It was such a great scene. I miss what Daytona was 25 years ago.
Nothing.
It still seems like it'd be fun to go back for the racing part of it because they still do all the racing and stuff.
They don't really anymore. They do. I mean, they do and they don't. It's not like it was.
Or something? Yeah.
They did a TT. They skip. They have. Sometimes they'll have flat track, but usually that'll be out of the oval about 30, 40 miles away. It's just different now.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Let's do Battle of the Twins. It was great.
Yeah.
It was. Go into the pit and watch the racing.
The Battle of the Twins was a great.
I love that.
I miss Daytona the way it was.
BOT.
It was fantastic.
Now it's leather and bikinis, which is fine.
I think it's pretty much time to get out of it.
I think so.
I'm going to leave on a note, and this is how you know the podcast is up to the minute. We just received news this morning that at 100 years old, former President Jimmy Carter has died.
Pour one out for Jimmy.
Yeah, well,
Jimmy was the real deal.
Good run.
Yeah.
He was the real deal,
Yep.
not least
Missed that guy.
because I believe he was the only U.S. president to ride a motorcycle.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm surprised Kennedy didn't.
You got to check the peanut field somehow.
Yeah, I think him and
Habitat for
Bubba
Humanity.
used to ride around on
started it.
motorcycles when they were younger.
The Bubba beers.
Yes, absolutely.
Habitat has done a lot of great work
Billy
for
Beer.
housing.
Mm-hmm.
Billy beer. That was it. Thank you.
So anyway, we always finish the show in a very specific way. So you guys are all going to have to figure this out. But basically, when I point to you, say your name. So I think it's time to get out of here. This is Emma Darling.
Stumpy John.
Nick and Jim.
David Murphy.
Clay Murphy.
Michelle Corbett.
Hayden Corbett.
And in Velveeta, Oregon.
Bagel.
And we are out of here. Cool.